Hi there, so here's a quick overview of this spreadsheet. It's really simple. First thing to notice is the tabs at the bottom. The first one has these instructions, the second one is categories, then we have income, then we have expenditure, and then we have a tab for each month of the year. And there's two tabs for April, one at the start, one at the end, because in Britain our tax year straddles over those months. It's also been set up to be used for every year. So you can see here, there's a 2022 here, but if you were doing your accounts for this year, then that would be April 2023. And the same on the income and expenditure tabs. So at the moment I've set this to be for the financial year 22 to 23, but maybe you're ahead of the game. And you've already started doing yours for 23 to 24. So it's an evergreen spreadsheet. You just file, save as again, and you can use it the next year as well. Step 1, categories. So on the second tab along, we go to categories, separated in two different columns, one for the income categories and one for expenditure categories. Now I've made up a business first as an example. I work with a lot of creatives and I'm working with a lot of photographers at the moment, so I'm going to use a photography business. So I'm going to say this photography business's income streams are weddings, press return, newborn, press return, maternity, return, family, return. And just as an example of some expenditure categories, we're going to have marketing, return, office, return, photography equipment, and let's say we want to keep track of the website costs. Ooh. And that's it. And you can see there's 20 lines. You can have 20 different expenditure categories, 20 different income categories. And the rest of this spreadsheet, it's locked. You can't change anything. You can't make any mistakes. It's just these grey areas here that you type in. Log into your online banking. You'll get lots of options. What you want to do is go to the bit where you select the dates. So in this instance, let's say it's for your month of 2022, April. You then get, every bank account is set up differently, every bank's section is set up differently. So what you want to look for is the export to a file. In my bank account it says, do you want to export it as to Excel? It's not the download PDF, it's the other option. And most banks will then give you these 5 files as an option, and what the one you want is this top one. It's Excel and the file is a CSV file. You select that, you download it, and mine, when it's downloaded, looks like this. All I've done is deleted, blacked out some data there so you can't see it, and you then highlight the first 4 columns, the date, the type, the description, the value. It's the first full columns of data there, and you copy, and that's what you paste into the spreadsheet. And all we're doing is filling in these grey areas here, and all of this happens automatically, and it's locked. You can't change it. It's just this bits here. So in my fictitious business, I have created what I think might be suitable for April. Copy and paste it directly from your CVS file that you've downloaded from the bank. So it's the date, the type of, it's bank speak, you know, was it point of sale, was it a check, was it a backs payment, etc. This is the description from the bank statement as well, and then the value. And the next thing we do is say which category. So this is a memory card, which is going to be photography equipment. This is Crystal. This is who I use as my own hosting. So that's for a website. Canva, we all know and love. That's marketing. Paper and printing ink, I'm going to say, is office. and Instagram templates, again, marketing. And then Tom and Jerry's deposit, that's going to be for a wedding. Edna and baby Sophie, that's a newborn. And Hannah and Bert, final payment, another wedding. And you can see automatically here, it's calculating. So it tells us what our income was that month, our expenditure was, and therefore what our profit or loss was that month. And visually it tells us down here as well. So we can see it here, and then we see a breakdown of the whole month here as well. So we can see wedding was very good that month. Expenditure, marketing was the most expensive that month. And if we want to know the details, we can see why, because Canva, that's an annual payment. Crystal, that's an annual payment as well, which is why it's an expensive month. And then this bit is literally to do with your paperwork. So I don't know whether you do your own accounting or whether you have to give your accounts to someone else and they do it all for your tax return. But generally, you need a bit of paper for every line of data. So this is literally, do you have it or is it not needed? So the memory card, we're going to say, yes, we've got that. Crystal and Canva, we have the receipts for that because they're online purchases. Let's assume that the paper and printing ink we actually bought in a shop and we've lost the receipt. So at the moment we're going to say no, we've not got it. Leave it blank. Instagram, that was an Etsy. Yes, we've got that. And then obviously we have copies of all the invoices we've sent out as well. And the reason why there's a selection there is in case you need the paper copies and you've not printed them out. Print them out, say yes. And then if you use a coding system, some people do, some people don't. It's up to you. Some people do a coding system for the month worth of receipts. Some people do it for the whole year. So in this example, I'm going to do months. So let's say that April 22, receipt 1. And when I've printed out that receipt from a memory card, that's what I would write on top of it. April 22, receipt 2. April 22, expenditure 3. Now then, these two in my fictitious business were born in the same shop, so it would be receipt 4, but I've lost it, so at the moment that remains blank. And then this is whatever invoice system you use yourself. So let's do a random one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6, and that's a final payment, so that's going to be earlier. 1, 2, 2, and you can see from the colouring, so this is still dark. It's not white, it's a gap. So you know you still have to find that receipt and give it its code if you're using the coding system. But that's it. That is it. So let's do May. May was a quiet month in my fictitious business. Copy and paste this directly from a bank. The domain name, that was a website. Expense, and Ricky D in my imaginary business, that was none of those. That was a headshot and it's not there. But that's simple. We just go back to categories, we go to the income categories, we type in headshot, we go back to May and we go back to the Ricky D's category and headshot is there. And then we fill in the paperwork bit if that's what we need to do for our business. And that's it. Annual overview on these two tabs here. So if we go to income, it will show us April and May. So we can see April, good income, May less. We can see what the breakdown was. So weddings was our biggest income in those 2 months. Newborn was next. And then headshots was our third biggest income. If we want to know the details, we can see it here. So wedding, 1,100. And then at the bottom is a running tally as well. And the same with expenditure. You can see really expensive month in April, but we know that had some annual renewal costs. We can see what they were. Marketing is our biggest one at the moment, followed by our website cost. But again, both of those involved annual renewal costs. We can see what the breakdown is here, and then there's just a monthly tally at the bottom as well. Hi there. So the Google Sheet's a slightly different setup to the Excel spreadsheet. I can explain why if you ever want to know, do get in touch, but it's not necessary to know why in order to use it. It has an instruction section at the beginning. The income is a summary section. You never need to change it. It's just automatically fed through. Same with the expenditure tab. Categories, exactly the same as the previous video. This is where you put, wedding, family, newborn, etc. And the same for the expenditure. I think we had post, website, equipment. And then instead of having individual months, there's just one for the whole bank. So you would go to your bank account, you download, for example, April's month, you'd as a CSV file, you'd copy and paste it into here. You'd then, if it was an income, you would add the income category. If it's an expenditure, you'd add the expenditure category. Paperwork, is it needed, yes or no, any code, and then it would all feed through automatically into the graphs, into the annual summary here, and then into the different expenditure and incomes here. It's exactly the same principle, just a slightly different way of doing things. Excellent, hope it's useful.